Hey everyone, welcome to this week's Broadway Bachelorette. I am your host, Hayley Podschun, with my co-host, Maisie, where we recap all things Bachelor Nation. This week, we are recapping JoJo Fletcher's season of The Bachelorette. And I have one of the funniest people on the internet and in life. He has been off-Broadway in Gigantic. We met and fell in love in a regional production of Peter Pan, where he played Smee and I was Peter. He's also been on Red Oaks on Amazon and Little People on Apple TV. Ladies and gentlemen, funny man Jared Lofton.
Hi,
BB.
I'm so just thrilled to be here.
You've truly been at the top of my list for a very long time. Oh, there's Maisie. It just
Hi,
feels
girl.
right to have you on JoJo's season.
Yeah, so it's perfect that we are recapping JoJo's season, number one, because we love her,
Yeah.
but also the day that Hayley and I met, we met the first day of rehearsal for Peter Pan. We were out of town, and on a break, I was like, "Is anybody in here trying to watch The Bachelor tonight?" And Hayley was the only one to respond, but it was incredible because her response was, "We're watching in my room. I'm in a fantasy league," and I was like, "Okay, I've got a friend, thank God." But it was the first night of Ben Higgins' season, and that is the night that the world met the unicorn herself, JoJo Fletcher.
Let's get to it. How long have you been watching The Bachelor for?
I started watching at Trista and Ryan.
Which is next week. I'm so excited.
Yes. So that's the first season of The Bachelorette ever. There have been times where I've like fallen off. There's like a season I've missed, but then I've like gotten right on back in. But I certainly watched JoJo. There's so many things to talk about in JoJo's season. It's like the perfect example of a Bachelorette season, I think.
It's so good. Let's just get started. Let's go. JoJo was one of the final girls in Ben's season. Yeah. And I actually just found out that Kayla was supposed to be the Bachelorette. And then, And then last minute, the producer switched it to JoJo because of her popularity.
She's better. Yeah.
This season, we had Luke, Evan, not Luke Evans, but Luke and Evan. Wells, Gordon, obviously. Robbie, Derek, Grant, Daniel, the Canadian, and Meathead Chad.
Wow, we really got so lucky, like, with this season.
I was not really Team Evan, really any time of when he was on The Bachelorette or Bachelor in Paradise. And it wasn't until him and Carly, like, actually got together and were a couple that now watching this back, I was like, oh, Evan.
Yeah, especially because we got to, like, see them now, like, with the kids that they have together.
I kept writing in my notes over and over and over, who is Chase?
I think Chase was like the guy that I kept confusing with Jordan like the whole season. There are some times when you're watching it where you're like, somebody doesn't have enough of a personality to like have their own like slot in your mind, and that is Chase.
Do you mean this?
Oh, they are so much alike.
They are twins.
And she chose both of them.
The firefighter date.
Where Wells almost died.
This is hard. Okay, I want you to get the water. Wells looks like he's about to pass out.
He's the best.
He's the best. He's so funny and he's like so charming. And then they put him in like hundreds of pounds of gear. And they're like
4 times his body weight in hot California weather, fighting a fire. It's not a good combo.
And then the best part is he like almost passes out. He's like laying there on the ground. JoJo like goes over and like pays more attention to him because he's like gonna die. And he like gets interviewed and he's like, I mean, I guess like almost die and you kind of get like a little date with the girl. And then do you remember, this is not the same season, but Evan from this season
in Bachelor in Paradise.
Same thing in Paradise.
Evan had a little medical issue. right now?
Yeah,
A medic issue?
a medical issue.
What's going on? So what can he do to be safe right now? Observation, somebody stay here with him. Can you just leave?
This
And
show
everyone
is
does it now on the show. Every
Yeah.
single person.
the show has been going on so long, and everybody on it has like grown up watching it, that they know the tricks. Oof.
And then Sweet Wells, I forgot that he was like one of the last people to kiss her.
Also, to get a date card that says "kiss me," like, and everybody in the house knows now, and
Well, that's
you're
his
the
fault.
only
He
one.
told everyone.
For sure. But I think people were like, "Kiss me, what's that?" And then he was like, I haven't. So then you're walking out on your date and you're like, everybody's expecting it, and so is she. So hope it happens.
Let's just get to Chad.
Oh,
I want to know all of your thoughts.
I think Chad needs to go to the hospital. I think he is so scary, and there are so many things wrong. As I was watching it last night, I started writing down all of the like violent things he was saying, knocking out people's teeth or collecting people's teeth multiple times, cutting people's arms off and cutting people's legs off, so then there would just be torsos laying around the house. What is that? Like, what?
He was like Brad Pitt in Ocean's 11, meaning that he eats in every scene that he's on TV.
He's like eating romaine lettuce and like a sweet potato, just like. And then when this really made me laugh last night, when Chris Harrison like checked in with Evan and Wells, and they were like they were giving more Chad stories that didn't make it to air.
And we were all enjoying these delicious ribs, and we look over and Chad was eating the ribs, and then he was also eating the bones.
I get you now.
Yep.
You're scary. You are a bone collector. I guess his teeth, like every other part of him, are really strong. I mean, he tied a weight belt around him and attached his suitcase to it to do pull-ups on the pergola outside the house that looks like the Cheesecake Factory. What is going on, Chad?
It makes me upset that producers and the show didn't do something about him before.
Nobody stepped in. That is one of the things that, yes, there's so many elements about the show that are so fun and so stupid, but like when somebody is repeatedly on edge and like
And hurting
acting
people.
erratically, like
repeatedly hurting
ripping,
people.
ripping people's shirts, punching walls, like making himself bleed, like do something about that.
I did Google a little bit about him last night. I believe he's in the porn world now, which makes sense.
Okay.
Mhm.
I might Google that later. Before we end with Chad, we need to talk about one thing of his that made me laugh so hard. On the 2-on-1 date, Chad is just like laying on the rock, and then he says something that I think is like burned into my brain, and I think is the funniest thing. He says,
Laughing all blueberries and paper airplanes, you know what I mean?
"What's going on?"
We have to touch on Robbie just a little bit. I don't want to.
Mm-mm.
It was interesting to see where his face started.
Robbie has never been for me. Robbie is, from episode 1, I said, no, thank you. I think Robbie is short for robot. Like, he
looks like one.
Even when he was broken up with, he was in the final 2. He was
Right.
just like, good luck. I hope you find someone. Don't settle, please. And he got into the van, and he had a handkerchief, which is like, what are you doing? There were no tears.
None.
Like nothing was leaking out, but he was like squeezing his eyes and like putting a handkerchief up to like dab the air that was coming out of his tear ducts. that to me, I was like, this is a performance and you're not good at it. Like,
Right.
you are a robot.
To wrap JoJo season up, Jordan. Jordan was the winner from the second he stepped out.
He kind of knew, right?
Knew the whole time.
I mean, he got the first impression rose. I think everybody was like, okay, he's going to make it to the end.
Scene time?
Scene time. Stop.
So who would you like to be, the singer or Derek?
Derek, obviously.
Gosh dang it, now I have to sing.
Are you mad?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm not changing.
Okay, great. So this is Derek leaving after being broken up.
Mm-hmm. I didn't think this was going to happen. You know, obviously, Chase is more the type of person she's looking for. More than enough? Thought I was. I'm not. I'm Derek. And Derek is imperfect.
It won't be easy, you'll think it's strange when I try to explain how I feel, that I still need your love after all I've done. You won't believe me.
I thought this was my time to be happy, but it's not.
At sixes and sevens with you.
Why am I crying?
Don't cry for me, Argentina. Mi alma está contigo. Mi vida entre te la dedico. Mas no te hables. Te necesito.
Don't cry.
Scene.
I mean, thank God that was the scene, but also we didn't talk about that moment. There are times when the editing on the show is so perfect that
was it.
That was the moment of this season where you were like, nothing could have been better. Because like that woman was always going to sing that song. They were in Argentina.
Yep.
We didn't know that Derek was going to be a weepy little boy. I'm just so glad that the stars aligned in that way.
Everything was perfect. And it starts in the background and you're like, us, you know, Broadway freaks,
Yeah.
we're always like,
Yeah.
what? But for muggles who watch the show, they won't get it. Like they won't understand what that is. Also, she's standing on a balcony singing that song, which I don't speak Spanish, so thank you for making me sing that in Spanish.
I also don't speak Spanish, and I don't even know one word in Spanish besides like uno. So I was certainly going to botch it and didn't want to be that person on the internet.
Okay, it will be now me on my own show, so it's fine. I'll take the credit.
Great.
You're one of the best. Thank you so much for being on. Where can we find you on socials?
On Instagram and Twitter, I am JLofton2.
Thank you so much for being my guest at this very early hour of a Tuesday.
I'm thrilled to have woken up to have this chat.
I love you dearly.
I love you.
Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe below. And next week, we recap Trista's season. And I think they're doing a little bit of the original Bachelor season as well. So see you next week.